everything real, and we like to tell the truth about what's going on. So today I will be interviewing Kenu Donald. Kenu is known around the campus as Nunu. She is a junior secondary education major from Edwards, Mississippi. A member of our very own Alcorn Sounds of Dynamite band, I would like to welcome Kenu Donald to the B Talk Show. Thank you for being here, Kenu.
Thank you for having me, Trisha.
All right, we're going to get right on into the interview. So my first question for you today, Nunu, why do we allow our past to affect the present?
It's not a matter of allowing our past, but it's because our past inevitably affects our present. It's not even about allowing, it's just a factor of life. And we should view our past as an element to do better or become better.
Okay, so do you believe in the saying, don't look back but continue moving forward?
I do believe in that saying, but looking back allows us to see where we came from, and we have to reflect on the past in order to determine what we need to do in the future. We shouldn't look back and fall back, but we should look back and see what we need to do to move forward.
Okay, so why is it that we are taught to give people second chances, but at the same time we're also told, we shouldn't look back in our past and we shouldn't, fall back into what we used to do and the people that we used to hang around, but we're, as young adults up until our older days, we're always taught to forgive people and give people second chances. So how do you explain that?
Giving people a second chance is not a matter of allowing them to do the same thing as they did to you as they did in the past. Like, giving them a second chance means I forgive you, because as a Christian I believe in a God of second chances, but I'm not giving you a second chance to do the same thing to me. I'm just forgiving you and giving you a second chance as a forgiveness factor for me. Like, it releases that off of me.
So with giving that person a second chance, and you give them the same benefits that they once had from their first chance?
Not at all. You have to build back up to that if you want that again, like as an individual. But if you don't, and you see that hurts you to the point of you didn't even want to give them a second chance, you shouldn't give them the same beneficial factor. No, not at all.
Okay, so Nunu, are you telling me that it's possible to give that person a second chance and you all are actually capable of building back up to where you all started off?
Maybe, and then again, maybe not. Simply because it depends on what that person did. And it may not even be able to get back to that point because of the magnitude of what that person did. But a second chance just gives you that hope, maybe that option, and maybe it could come to that point again.
Okay, so does your past make you who you are, or does it teach us what to do and what not to do?
Both. Like, our past allows us to become who we are, and it teaches us, and our past shows us what we should do and what we shouldn't do, and that all comes into play as to who we are today in the present.
Okay, so you would say the things that you go through in your past, the trials and tribulations, the friends you lose, the friends you gain, those are all factors that help us become the person or people that we are today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so I noticed that you did just mention something about, people having a tendency to hurt you, and we have to have the ability to forgive someone. But how do you forgive someone that has hurt you?
It's a long process, and I speak from experience. When you're hurt, it seems like that part of you will never ever be mended. But as a human being, you have to just keep going with it and keep hoping for that process to get better and forgive that person who actually hurt you. It is a long, strenuous process, but it can be done.
And when you say it can be done, does that mean in all aspects? Like, is there certain categories of what that person did that may cause you to forgive them, or is just forgiveness is an automatic answer?
Forgiveness is never an automatic answer, especially if the person did something that just seemed unforgivable to you in the past. But forgiving is a process, and that process depends on what that person did, just automatically. So if they hurt you to the point where you thought you weren't going to be able to forgive them, but as time goes on, you find yourself able to forgive them because you're moving on for yourself.
Okay, so I'm big on the quote, the best way to predict your future is to create it. But how do you create your future? Like, how is that possible?
You create your future by allowing certain things to come into your life and by allowing certain opportunities to evolve you and take you to the next step. When you reject something that may change or alter something that could have happened in your future, and then when you allow something to come into your life, it does push you towards your own future. So it's like you choose your own, you make your own destiny, you choose your future.
Okay, but sometimes we can't choose the obstacles that we have to go through and the people that we have to run into counter with to get to where we're trying to go. So how does that play a part in trying to get to where you want to go in your future?
That all plays a part in everything happens for a reason. But we can't choose our obstacles, but we can choose how we handle them. We can choose like what level of forgiveness, the level of just how you're going to handle a certain situation, a certain obstacle that comes into your life. So that plays a part in your future, you making your own future.
Okay, so do you have any advice to give to someone going through something, any words of encouragement on how they should go about it? Because you have to keep in mind, everyone isn't Christian based, so everyone doesn't, have that thought of, okay, I can go to God and ask for forgiveness. So in general, how would you go about that? Like, do you have any advice that you can give to someone that's out there going through something and really just don't know what to do right now?
Not even from a Christian perspective, but from an individual. You're doing this is your life. You have to make the best of your one life that you have. And in order to get better, you have to continue to hope for the best. Continue to press for better. Even not even speaking from a God perspective, but if you want this in your life and you want your life to get better, you have to continue to hope for better. You have to make sure that you're doing the best that you can do as an individual and not doing the same thing as you did in your past, but keep hoping that the things will get better.
Okay, so Kinu does believe that hope is alive. I do have one last question though, and we're going to kind of close up the interview, and you've actually been doing a pretty good job. I really liked your answer that you've been giving. But this last question is one that I get asked a lot, and my answers tend to vary. When it comes down to our past, we have a tendency to blame our past on the situation that we're in today. A lot of people like to say, oh, well, when I was growing up, I went through this and I went through that, or my mama did this and my mama did that. How do you let that go? Like, how do you move on from it? I don't. Sometimes I know how to answer depending on the situation, but a lot of times I'm actually lost. So maybe you can help me with it in this aspect.
Blaming your past for where you are in the present. I'm kind of like Trisha B. I'm at a loss for words because at certain days I can blame my parents for what's going on with me right now, and other days I'm my own individual. Like, this is my life. I should make the best of wherever I am right now and move towards the best of where I want to be. So, as of the situation right now, letting your past affect your present, you shouldn't allow that. Your past is a segment of what you went through in your life. You shouldn't let that continuously affect where you are and where you're going to go. So, you should do your best to try to move on from the past and create your own present so that your future will not be a figment of what happened to you in your past, because you'll just be repeating history. So,
okay, I like that answer. Well, this concludes the interview portion of my show. I would like to thank Kinu, also known as Nunu, so you now know who Nunu is if you hear that name around campus. I would like to thank you for stopping by and gracing us with your presence.
Thank you again, Trisha B.
All right, and we're now going to return you all to the regular scheduled programming.